Real Talk with Rock LaManna. I'm getting out of control. My kids would say I'm getting out of control. I'm going live on YouTube this coming Saturday, 7:30 p.m. from Florida, USA, because I have a lot of Vietnam TikTok followers. And I'm just going to start talking about what I talk about. I talk about USPS. I talk about divorce. I talk about money. I talk about parenting. I talk about strategies. I got 50 years, man. 50 years in business. I'm 70 years old, trying to learn shit like this, live streaming. And like I mentioned, this is a business to me. But I'm giving sound, wise advice. Believe me, I've been doing it all my life. That's what I've been doing. Growing businesses all my life, talking to people, trying to make things happen. And you know what? There's some smart people, there's wise people, and there's some fucking dummies. You know what I mean? Not everyone could be an entrepreneur. I have high expectations. And not only in the workforce and business, I have high expectations for my kids. I have high expectations for my clients in my relationships. And maybe that's why I haven't been successful in my marriages. I expected too much. You know what I mean? In other words, all the things that count, which is integrity, trust, transparency, all those things. So I'm going to try this, Rock LaManna Live. I'm going to call it Real Talk. Bear with me, man. At least I'm doing it. But one thing I want to mention is there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on in politics. There's a lot going on in trade. There's a lot going on in your life, my life. And I just booked a one-way ticket to Vietnam. This is my second trip, and I just returned in March, and I can't get enough of it, man. And plus, I'm on TikTok, and TikTok, I get a lot of Vietnamese followers. And you know why? Is they're really young, they're ambitious, hardworking people, well-educated. They see what growth their country is in, that mode of growth. You see, they have a lot more than us here in the United States. They got 110 million people, and my understanding is it's a high percentage. A majority of them are under 40, under 30, well-educated. They're all about, family. They're very traditional people, very happy people. And you know what? They're a lot of fun, man. They're a lot of fun because they want to learn. That's the thing about life. As I age, I'm trying to learn. Why do you think I'm on YouTube? And TikTok and social media and LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn for years. But it's really changed. It's really changed. And the professionals that are on LinkedIn, they're all striving for more. They're pushing. Actually, it's kind of embarrassing to see people push to make a living. Sometimes you're just not built for it. You're just not built for certain positions. It's just like the USPS. I mean, I get people that follow me and talk about USPS. It sucks. It's hard work. Yeah, no shit it is. And as I mentioned before in a couple of my YouTubes, I stop these people and I ask them, do you like your job? Do you like what you're doing? What's your ambition? I got a couple kids in college, or grandkids, I should say. And you know what? I'm proud of them. You know what? They have vision. And where did they get the vision? From their parents, because their parents had vision. And that's the beauty that I had, was I had the opportunity to push my kids when I was young, because I was divorced. I was a single parent, but I handled the education, I handled the discipline, and I pushed the kids. So, they might have not liked me as I raised them, but I think they turned out really well. And my grandkids, even better. And that's the way generational wealth should go. Not just finance. It's the happiness. It's being a kind person, being empathetic, being a person of integrity, kindness, all the things that I didn't see in many people that I've dealt with, including friends. In the last couple of years, I just started eliminating clients. I eliminated friends. I eliminated shit. I don't need that in my life. So I feel very successful in many ways. And I want to pass this on. And one of the biggest things that I learned in Japan a year ago is when I walked the streets, boots on the ground. That's what I would do. I would travel. And I would travel alone. I'd go on tours and so on, but I would meet people and just, and get engaged on life. And what the Japanese taught me was that wealth is health. I saw people that you would think they were 100 years old actually sweeping the streets. They were so clean. The gardening, the environment. I mean, it's just beautiful. Why can't we do that? Why can't we be a happy country? And we all have to pass it on to our kids. The people that are listening to me on YouTube, I would say 45 and older is close to 50, 60%. But I'm starting to get some younger ones. That are in transition. It's tough to be in transition, especially if you get married at an early age, because you're always changing things. You got to deal with the families. You got to deal with babies, maybe. You lose your job. It's just devastating. And now the fourth quarter's coming up. You know what fourth quarter is in my life? I call it pink slip quarter. If you don't know what pink slip means, for all you younger kids, that means you got laid off or you got fired or whatever. So you got to start looking at yourself, And yeah, there are bad managers. There are bad supervisors and bosses and people that aren't that sharp. Let's face it. But then it takes balls to go independent. And you got to be really careful, especially if you're married and you have a family. But, that's why I'm talking. YouTube. Bear with me. Have a little patience. I got to learn this. Once I get it down, I'm going to go off the wall. So, there's a lot of things that I haven't shared with you, which is I'm an author. I got multiple publications out there. I got one book and one being copyrighted right now and secured for what? For a screenplay. Why would I think about a screenplay? I never thought about a screenplay. But some teachers, some business course professors at our local college recommended it. Use my book as a entrepreneurial type step. And he says, Rock, you should make this into a movie. And then my ego. But I'm very strategic, so that's just some of the stuff. But you know what? I want to give you wise information. I want to be able to provide you things that make sense. You know what I mean? Make sense. These advisors and these consultants and these priests and all this other shit, even therapists. If you get the wrong therapist, man, it's like I say, you got to pick the right horse. You got to pick the right horse in your professional life, in your college, in your career development, your mentorship. You have that choice. You do. In your relationships. You got to do your due diligence, man. I call it the 3 T's. You got to trust people. They got to be, not only trust them, you got to be able to be transparent on both sides. And then there's got to be a timeline. Everything, especially business and family, is about timing. Is it the right time? You know what they say? Right time, right place. Okay? All right. And there's the other thing we need to talk about is luck. Besides being blessed, yes, it's true. I've dealt with a lot of entrepreneurs, and the old school guys, the guys that are greatest generation, like my dad who's close to 100, he will admit he had some luck. A lot of luck. You know what his luck was? His luck was that he never got sick a day in his life. He was at work every day, and I've had very similar situations. So check me out. Bear with me if I'm not too good at it the first time around. But it's Saturday, this coming Saturday, and it's 7:30 p.m. And we're going to have real talk with Rock. How does that sound? I hope you guys show up and throw me some shit, man. And don't be embarrassed. You know, I've done everything. You know what I'm saying? So God bless you. I'll talk to you soon. Keep watching. Keep coming up with questions. Don't worry. I'm not going to make any rash judgments on the USPS. I'm still doing my due diligence. Okay? I'm still checking things out by talking to people on the ground. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. God bless.